Hi, I'm Ken Howard, and welcome to the Gay Therapy LA podcast. Today, I want to talk about Valentine's Day for single gay men, coping with hope. Valentine's Day, for all of its lovely sentiment, is perhaps one of the most divisive holidays of the year. Everyone can enjoy New Year's Day. Every American can enjoy President's Day, thankfully coming up very soon, and Independence Day. And we each have a birthday. Episode 35, I think, was about gay men and birthdays. But Valentine's Day is a holiday for lovers, and many single people can end up with major FOMO, fear of missing out, on Valentine's Day. When I was younger, I used to darkly refer to Valentine's Day as like having a track meet outside a hospital for paraplegics. Valentine's Day for single gay men can be a difficult holiday for guys who are single and want partners, as opposed to those who don't want partners, because it starkly draws that contrast between having a partner and not in a very public, almost obnoxious way. It's especially hard for gay men who want partners and feel left out, because as gay men, we grow up for years with so much feeling of being left out of heterosexual privileges that Valentine's Day can be just one more thing to add to that list. How then do we cope with that if we are single? I call it Coping with Hope, which is a title that I admit I affectionately rip off from the annual HIV Mental Health Conference that I used to co-chair for many years with the UCLA Pacific AIDS Education and Training Center, which referred to coping with the hope that HIV could be eradicated. And they have an annual conference on that for social workers and mental health professionals and doctors and nurses every year in the springtime. But that phrase, coping with hope, means that a single person on Valentine's Day is having to cope with the frustration of not having a partner and the hope of finding one all at the same time. Coping with any situation involves understanding a situation as clear-eyed and realistically as possible, with no illusions, denial, or distortions. Coping is realistically recognizing our strengths and weaknesses. Coping means borrowing from AA's Serenity Prayer. There's another episode on that about the wisdom to know the difference between the serenity to accept the things we cannot change and the courage to change the things we can. And in the situation of wanting a partner, dancing deftly among this serenity to accept and courage to change balance is kind of tricky. Why still single? It's a time to realistically assess why you do not have a partner when you say that you want one. Are you being too picky? Are you emphasizing the wrong things, such as focusing on sex too much when you're looking for love? I have a blog article on this about gay men's dating and emphasizing the 3 C's, cash, connections, and cock. That's on my gaytherapyla.com website if you want to look at the blog tab and just search for, cash or connections. And it'll go over some of the pitfalls of dating, of putting the emphasis on the wrong things in the dating process. Maybe we'll do an episode on that. But are you devoting enough time and energy to being what I call interested and interesting in attracting a partner? Are you perhaps unconsciously avoiding relationships because of a fear of repeating your parents' dysfunctional marriage? Or maybe it's a fear of having to share or giving up some independence or facing responsibility if you have a partner. You've got to get outside of yourself and hello, there's other people in the world. And you have to be more accountable. And maybe being accountable is a kind of performance anxiety that doesn't feel good to you. Are you doing a reasonable amount, and keyword reasonable, to be attractive to others, not to capitulate to body fascism or appearance privilege stuff? There's a blog article on gaytherapyla.com that says, spruce up, making an effort to entice your partner. We can all do things to be more attractive, not in any kind of specific way, because there's no one way to be attractive. but we can do certain self-care things that communicates to the world that we have a high self-esteem and that we're worth loving because we love ourselves first. Are you doing something such as cognitive therapy about any kind of social anxiety or shyness issues? We had a previous episode about how gay men break the ice and overcome shyness, if you look at the episode list. And that's a huge issue I work with clients on in my practice. I think it's a rare person who doesn't struggle with at least some social anxiety, at least at certain times. And, this can really delay or kill certain life goals. Social anxiety gets in the way of a lot, of making friends, of having dates, of speaking up, of asking for what you want, making friends at work, climbing the ladder at work, networking for freelance jobs, or networking in your career. We really want to take a fairly aggressive stance toward overcoming social anxiety because it really gets in the way of a lot of important life goals. And these are all important questions to really reflect and ask yourself. But sometimes, finding a partner is just a matter of patience, the right person at the right time. I used to love Diana Ross's song, I think back with the Supremes, "You can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait." And it's, the song is about somebody who is frustrated because they're single, but you really can't hurry love. The serendipity and the magic of it has to happen all its own when two, or maybe more, people meet. The magic of all the stars aligning just right to create partnerships is an alchemy that no one can yet fully figure out. There are so many variables and rules. We hear the rules about dating, such as, not sleeping with someone on the first date. And those rules remain to be broken. I readily admit that I met my husband in a dance club on a Sunday afternoon, a Sunday fundy type thing, and I slept with him on the first night, and breaking lots and lots of rules there. And we've been together since 2002, so and married since 2008. So rules were made to be broken. There's other variables besides just following rules. But I also remember that I was putting myself out there, not so much to find a partner as to be an active member of the gay community and see friends in the general gay gathering place. This was a tea dance, after many years of being single as a gay male adult. While I think finding a partner does take a certain alignment of the stars, a serendipity that can be frustratingly elusive, I also think we can influence these variables by being as vibrant, caring, and active a single person as possible in our work and play, and again, as cliche as it sounds, loving ourselves first. The other ways to celebrate. In the meantime, while you're searching for a partner, don't let the intent of Valentine's Day elude you because you don't have a partner. There are still relationships to celebrate with friends, perhaps parents, siblings, nieces and nephews, even children in your life. Valentine's Day is about expressing affection, in its origins, originally through notes, but, certainly through cards or any message or any kind of interaction with someone. And it can also be an email or a card or a text. Ask yourself who is important to you in your life that you can express affection to on this day, that is devoted to expressing affection to loved ones in general. Expand it beyond this idea that it's only just for intimate romantic lovers. Now, if all of this is very, very hard and you are truly hurting, then perhaps it's time to get help for that. Having a good Valentine's Day by this time next year means becoming self-empowered, my favorite word in my psychotherapy and coaching practice, to do it, and coping with the hope that we can achieve many of our life goals, including having a partner, over time. But I think it takes work. Every client I've ever seen after many years of doing therapy with gay men who's gone from working with me as a single person to having a partner has had to stack the deck in his favor by working on it in various ways to increase the odds that a suitable relationship emerges in his life. And I think even sometimes that requires changing your career Or I've seen guys become couple after relocating to another city, especially in Los Angeles where I am, where I think dating is a little bit harder than in other cities, even for gay men. And if Valentine's Day is about expressing affection, maybe I can start that by just expressing my affection for all who take the time to listen to this podcast show, or who take the time to visit gaytherapyla.com and read the blogs, and certainly for the guys who are the clients that I work with that, give me my livelihood in this lifetime. I consider it an honor and a privilege to help people via my practice and blog and podcast, and I truly value you and appreciate the opportunity to share with you not only formal skills of counseling and coaching, but also my affection for just helping guys out in the community. So there's no red hearts or little cupids on a podcast, but maybe just a big thank you and an XO and XO and all who need to hear it today. Some of you are listening to this, and you are guys I don't know, and I won't know you, and you're in countries that I might not ever visit across the world, which is kind of mind-blowing to think that this podcast reaches guys outside of, my little circle in Los Angeles, California, in the USA, but reaching other guys in other states and countries. But you're not alone in this, because, I'm very grateful that I have a great husband now, and maybe I'll do another episode on that. But I also know what it's like to be single, and I know what it's like to be frustrated by that. And I think I just got lucky. I think a lot of guys get lucky, but we can sometimes help our luck along by, I think what I said earlier, being interested in interesting, pursuing your hobbies, making friendships, pursuing good work. And, the belief that I think there's somebody out there for everyone. And if it's not quite a partner, well, then maybe there can be really good friends that you can cultivate. And so, this idea of isolation, okay, there's a lot of things that go into that. There's ageism and appearance privilege, like we said before. But I think there's also the idea that if you're willing to compromise a little bit and really put yourself out there, there are ways to form affectionate relationships, even if it's not, the romance of the century. Even when you're in a relationship, how great it can be, you still need other people like your friends and family and coworkers to really make your life feel full. No one person can do it all for you. So let's try to celebrate Valentine's Day in all of its different iterations, and reaching out in any way you can, and just celebrate the idea of expressing affection and making connection on the day. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.